COB as he likes to be called. And apparently Jighart is in rust mode, meaning it's been a little bit of time since he's played. And COB is asking for punishment today.
Yeah, he wants that bomb escape. So we find out that red mail is for cowards.
We also know we're not getting a sword. I just found this out. If you're getting a sword, the uncle's going to be carrying it as he leaves.
Oh, okay. I actually did not know that.
Or at least found this out last night anyway.
Okay, that's interesting.
This is a creation of Vitorp and Christos Owen and Small Hacker and Desurect and all these other people. And we've got bomb opening.
COB is getting what he wants today. We have bombs.
So it's for the SNES. You basically take the entire ROM and randomize all the stuff. There's a web-based application that does this for you, and if you check this out, you can find out where it is yourself. No, all the openings are equally likely. They are roughly 1 in 7. That being said, you're going to have some confirmation bias on that.
But yeah, both of our runners are getting started with bombs, which means they pretty much have to go through escape with just using bombs, which can be really, really difficult. Looks like Jighart knows the strats, gets through that first guard with no problem. COB working his way through this guard as well, getting the heart container for the trouble.
No problems on the first guard. That's the one that takes a little bit of effort. You got to make sure you get hit with both, and you don't die in the process.
Yeah, that is definitely the difficulty. You have to wait for the bomb to kind of reach its exploding animation and make sure the guard doesn't try to just follow you around the room while you're waiting. So you kind of have to just kind of research some strats. Looks like Jighart has a really good strat for that room, getting 100 rupees from that chest and taking care of the second blue guard.
100 rupees early on is a great thing to see. You can get that bottle vendor taken care of over in Kakariko Village early on, which, if you're wondering, is not a good thing to skip.
Definitely not. I'd almost say there's a lot of locations that you probably don't want to skip in Randomizer. Okay, so it looks like Jighart is done with the first part of Escape. He has Zelda, and at this point there's really only one more enemy he has to destroy in order to make it through this section, and it is a rat that is in the key rat room. That'll be a little later on in the sewers, but as far as the other enemies, doesn't really have to use bombs anymore, so you've made it through the part that requires the most amount of bombs, which is good.
Right, but the rat itself is actually sort of the worst.
That is true. Yeah, it moves around a lot, and it can be hard to kind of pin him down.
Very erratic movement.
Thankfully, though, if you do kind of run into a situation where you run out of bombs, if you do a save and quit, you'll go back to one of the prior checkpoints with a full stash of bombs, so you don't have to worry about kind of going through the entire escape sequence again. You can kind of go to at least a checkpoint and try again with a restock. It does lose a little bit of time, but it's more friendly than what it used to be.
And Jighart is making his way to the back of the throne room. We'll get to start navigating the dark rooms. The dark rooms here, you don't have a lamp right now, and normally the rooms would be dark, but for standard mode we have this portion always lit up by a lamp no matter what you do. However, this is the only part. If you don't have a lamp, other rooms such as the old man cave, a couple of rooms in Eastern Palace, things like that. They are going to be dark, and you will not be able to see anything. Speaking of the old man cave, there's the glove.
Ooh. Now, if I have to see a glove and escape, I'm glad it's there and not the bomb wall room, because if you run out of bombs and you can't check that, you have to go perhaps a long way through escape again just to get to that room. But thankfully they'll not have to worry about that. Plus they start with bombs too, so they should be just fine.
Yeah, major upside with bomb opening is you do not have to farm bombs at all. You can just get these chests right away.
Yeah, farming for bombs would be pretty redundant because you'd have to use bombs to farm bombs.
And Cobb managed to kill 2 rats, but neither of them was the correct one.
Okay, he's gonna need to get this one this time though, because if he runs out of bombs, he's not gonna be able to check that back of escape room. But thankfully there's nothing there, so he won't be missing out on too much, but still.
Oh, that's unfortunate. This is his last bomb. Does he get it? No.
Ooh, he does not, and he's gonna go ahead and take a death here.
Well, at least that'll give him a fresh stock of 10, and he'll start from the throne room, so that's not that bad. Oh, it's just 3.
Okay,
Huh.
just 3 apparently. I thought it was more too, but
Well, it was a full stock before Zelda, I guess.
true. Okay, yeah, that's right. But yeah, Cobb got really, really bad RNG in that room. The rat, unfortunately, just kind of had some very awkward movements, which prevented him from getting that kill. So it is unfortunate, but that's just some of the things that can happen with the bomb escape. We do find the mirror inside the Lost Woods on the mushroom spot.
Ooh. So the mirror is a interesting item to find early. It means there are going to be a lot more locations you can check once you get to the Dark World. Still got to get access to the Dark World, though.
It will allow for a lot more efficient Dark World routing, too, because when you get the mirror late, there's just so many like one-off locations on the map you have to kind of worry about.
The only major downside, in my opinion, is that it sort of gives you the potential for early swamp access. And nobody wants to go to swamp.
Cobb does make it through the escape portion with the bomb, so he will be able to check this. Even though it wasn't anything, it'll prevent him from having to come back here later, at the very least.
And we get to see our first highly chest-dense location. That's the Blind's Hut. That's 5 chests. Ooh, we got a fire rod and a shovel.
Yeah, we can add one more location as we're leaving Kakariko with that shovel.
Yep. That's a really nice thing to get in Kakariko, because that's a pretty good time to route it. And there's the hammer, my goodness.
2/3 of the Dark World puzzle have been found.
Yep, and that puts the Aghanim Seed on very strong life support at the moment.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with that at this point. Anyway, gonna check our second highly dense location in Kakariko. Get the Cane of Samaria back here.
Is it too soon to start talking about Go mode?
Yeah, a little bit. Put a little note. We'll put a note on that, but not yet.
So Cobb, I think, will probably be checking the Lumberjack Cave. Well, nope. That is a falsehood.
Probably gonna wait till they get the boots, just so he can get the bonk rocks and then just very quickly run up there.
Cobb a little surprised to see the mirror. A lot of people are very accustomed to seeing what's in that mushroom spot and turning right around. But today, something you want to hang on to.
In the back of the tavern, looks like we got a sword. Our first sword has been found before the 10-minute mark.
Again, is it too early to start talking about COB?
Yes,
Okay,
yes. We don't have Dark World access. We can't talk about Go Mode just yet.
There's a big chunk of change on the library. Kind of wish you'd had the boots right about now, but unfortunately, no such luck. Alright, just a piece of heart at the race game, and Jighart does remember, hey, I've got the shovel. Let's go check this spot.
Yeah, this is something that you can kind of forget about sometimes if you get like the shovel early and you just kind of, oh wait, I had the shovel, I could have checked this. But Jighart does remember, and we're going to see what's inside the ground up here. Getting some more bombs too.
Nice, gets the double 50-50 drop. That's 1 in 4 for those of you keeping score at home. Just another piece of heart. That time you'll pick it up, because why not?
It's
Early
right
on,
there.
a few pieces of heart, as long as it's, right available. Not going
Yeah.
to waste you much time. And also going to be pretty useful.
Exactly. Anyway, it looks like Jighart is going to be taking the South Shore route next. Another pretty common secondary play after.
I mean, this game is basically Dark
Faster.
Souls. Have you ever played... You ever tried to fight Mothula with green mail and 5 hearts?
I've done it a few times. It's not fun.
Alright, so the dam not paying off particularly well today, but we're going to go ahead and see what is in the mini Moldorm cave.
Another heavily stocked Light World location that is definitely worth checking out when you're in the area.
Yep, there are only a few other places with the chest density of mini Moldorm cave. There's the Blind Hut and well that we already talked about. There's also Hype Cave in the Dark World, and also the Paradox Cave up on Death Mountain, and that's about it. I mean, that sounded like a bunch of money to me. Unless I missed something important.
Nope, looks like we've still got nothing of major significance just yet. Anyway, Jighart is now making his way to the Ice Cave now, the Ice Rod Cave.
Yep, one of those slightly out of the way locations that you don't necessarily want to have to do, but occasionally there's something here and it really bites you. It has just sort of become the meta that you do check Ice Rod Cave, but you leave Agnes Cave until forever.
Yeah, one-off locations like these two locations are always just so awkward around, and because they are just so far away, and you feel like you can be just spending your time in better ways, kind of going to more high-volume locations. But sometimes, like you said, the item could be in that location, and you just kind of have to take a chance on it. And that's why people go to Ice Rod Cave, just because I think it's still somewhat closer to everything. You can kind of hit it in a nice linear line, but yeah, it's hard to make those calls sometimes.
All right, so Jighart looks like they're going to do the sequence break up Death Mountain. Now that's going to give them access to the Tower of Hera, And that's a crystal they can definitely get because they have a fire source and they have the mirror. They can also use that hammer to reach the east side of Death Mountain. So there's a lot of items they can get up here, and they know that they'll be sequence breaking around either the lamp or the flute.
Yeah, so when you get to these sequence breaks, there's always like two schools of thought. Do I just kind of do the sequence break, hope I get lucky with some better items, and then go back for the lamp or flute later? Or do I just kind of look around for those items first before I go up there, just kind of follow the breadcrumbs logic versus, again, kind of trying to get something later out of sequence and then just kind of seeing if you can get a faster clear of other dungeons.
So sequence breaking around the lamp is actually somewhat advantageous if you know how to navigate dark rooms. Because that way you can be like, oh, I don't need the lamp anymore. We're good.
Right, yeah, definitely.
Now, other sequence breaks, while they may not be as useful, they can give you some indication as to where those items that you need might be. Based on what you had to sequence break around to get them, or what you found.
Yeah, sometimes you can find something, and based on what you find, you can know that, oh, well, I'm not going to find what I need to get here through what I just obtained, basically.
Alright, and we know that Swamp Palace is a crystal. It's a 5/6 crystal. We know that Turtle Rock is the remaining 5/6 crystal, and the other two pendants are Palace of Darkness and Ice Palace.
What an interesting dungeon distribution we have today.
Yep. So I foresee very, very little chance of going into Ice Palace today.
I don't know. I mean, you say that, but sometimes, like, I've seen in a lot of races recently, there has been something in there.
Yeah, there could be an item in there, but you're not going to go in there looking for the flippers, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And those are going to be required. So I would not sequence break around the flippers in this.
Right.
If I could help it.
I do agree there, for sure. It is definitely something we'll be holding off on for a really long time, I imagine. So Jighart is climbing the Tower of Hera, going to go up here and fall down to the big chest, see if he can find that remaining item he has left to find. Now, one thing that is interesting about Jighart's situation right now is he can either find the item or the small key on Moldorm. In past versions of the logic, you'd know that Moldorm would have to drop the small key, but in more recent versions, they've actually made it so some small keys can be inside the chest or item locations that they would normally be blocking, because you wouldn't be soft locking or really breaking the seed at that point. So there is a possibility that a small key to this dungeon could be in the basement.
That can happen if and only if that is the only item location that key would lock.
Right. But that is not going to matter. We got the small key, which means the last item is going to be down there.
Well, looks like it's coffee break strats time.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, of course, Jighart decides, East Side might be more profitable. We'll see. Now, we're going to take a nice little leisurely stroll through a bunch of tiles. Tile room is basically Dark Souls, right?
I'd say it'd be pretty close. Yeah, I'd say that'd be pretty close to Dark Souls.
Complete with the glitches to get around it.
Yes, of course. So yeah, as you can see, Jighart not having to move because he is on top of that peg. He will not be taking any damage from the tiles, so you can just kind of sit around, wait, think about what his next move is going to be after doing this. Although it's pretty easily going to be the rest of Death Mountain, I imagine.
And just a piece of heart, but hey, free heart.
Yeah, it gave him a new heart container. You can't really complain about that too much.
I mean, you can sit there and say, I wasted how many seconds getting this?
Yeah, that's true. Fair enough. Fair enough. The way I see it, though, is once we get to Dark World, there's a strong possibility that they're going to be pushing Mothula on us, and with only green mail.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh, was that what I thought it was?
That was the best item in the game, not close. The magic powder sitting up there on the floating island. We had that in the race I commentated last night, too.
Oh, wow.
And the mirror was go mode. So...
And they really should stop leaving, like, powder up there.
Now, of course, you're going to need the Titan's mitts to get a hold of that one.
Yep. Not currently in the logic, but who knows? You may find the Titan's mitts in one of these next few locations.
Not to mention the Moon Pearl.
That's true. We still need that.
The Moon Pearl for that. You can't lift the rock without the Moon Pearl.
That is true. That is true. Okay, Cobb just finished up Moldorm. Now will he go back in the Tower of Hera? And there is the Moon Pearl, so right as we were talking about it.
Yep. If one of these 5 chests upstairs is the Titan's mitts, then we can go get that powder, and everything will be great.
Now we'll open up another location down in Kakariko too, so Magic Bat will be available. There's the Master Sword.
I'm certainly not opposed to that.
Definitely not.
That's going to do it for Death Mountain at the moment. Now, we didn't find the fluke, nor did we find the flippers, so one of those is locked. Or one or both of those could still be at large.
I don't think we've paid a visit yet to Sashrala's Closet or Eastern Palace.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's where one of them is.
Yeah, at this point, I don't think there's really any other place where they could be.
It could be at Zora.
That's true, yeah.
Or everybody's favorite Agina's Cave.
That's right.
Now we make the trip to Hype Cave. Oh, we got a bunch of money. We've got a book. Hey, literacy is hype. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, hey, that opens up 2 more item locations. It allows us to see what's on the pedestal. We can get into Desert Palace. So, yeah, I'd say that's pretty hype.
Yeah, also makes it not the worst thing to go visit Agina's Cave.
Yeah, definitely not. It looks like that's exactly what Jighart is thinking right now.
Oh, we're going to check Bombo's tablet.
Yeah, Bombos in the Agina, and then maybe in the desert right after that. From the Bombos tablet, we acquire a bottle with a fairy in it.
That is the first bottle.
It is, so Sick Kid is now within the logic as well. Actually, it's within Jighart's current logic anyway, because we shouldn't have Dark World access right now.
Right, we should not have the Moon Pearl. That's the real thing that's kind of blocking us. So somewhere the flute or the lamp will be at large in the light world. And we're thinking it's probably over in Eastern Palace area, which is okay because we can go over there and like, just mirror.
And if we find the bow anytime soon, it'd be a very strong play to head over in that direction anyway. It'll allow Eastern to be finished and also give some checks in Palace of Darkness if they do want to go into a pendant dungeon.
All right, Stumpsman has the blue mail.
And he becomes a blue guard, a blue ball and chain guard.
Yeah. Or I guess technically he's at this point one of the blue stabby guards.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're the ones that look like that. I think even like the cannon soldiers also kind of look like that too.
Right, they do. The cannon soldiers don't exist in the normal game, but they're in the code. And if you play Randomizer, they'll show up.
Yeah, they do. Most of the time I find that they're like on a wall though, so you can't actually get to them or kill them.
We got 14 digs for $5 as COB starts to follow directly in Jighart's footsteps. The guards do not turn into Link, unfortunately. That would be great.
It will be interesting to see what Cobb does after, if he does decide to go for the Bombos tablet as well, because Jighart did not check Agina when he was in the area, so if Cobb does that, he could gain a pretty significant advantage if he does check that before going Jighart's route.
And Desert is also in the logic.
Definitely.
Although Desert is a pendant dungeon, so you don't necessarily want to go in there. But it is the green pendant, and you still haven't been to Sahasrara. So it kind of feels good if you can get both of those checks out of the way at the same time.
It's also just a very quick check. Desert is one of the shortest dungeons of the game, so
very true.
Not a bad thing to get out of the way. It looks like Cobb is foregoing all of that though, which he will gain a little bit of time because he didn't make the Bombos check, but
unless Sick Kid has something.
That's true, yeah. Sick Kid could have something as well.
Yeah, Desert is also a sequence break for certain things, but so is everything else they're doing at the moment.
Yeah.
Basically, the only thing that's not a sequence break is Sahasrara, Eastern, and Zora, and I think they'd like to combine that with some other checks.
Yeah.
So Jighart getting pretty lucky with the Skull Woods here, having a key on the left side, not having to go to the special guaranteed key room.
He's also going to be pretty lucky because with that Cane of Samaria that they found in Kakariko, they're going to be able to make this upcoming room a lot easier to just get through.
Yeah. This next room is really good.
See, that's simple.
How many times have you gotten the Cane of Samaria in that chest?
I have actually never seen that happen, but I imagine that it has happened before, and I'm sure it's hilarious.
It's happened to me like 3 times. Only once was in a Plando.
Wow.
So the Sphere 1 locations, they do tend to have a high... Overall, they have a high probability of having something, but like a single one doesn't have much more probability than anything else.
Yeah, and as we mentioned earlier, I mean, a lot of those single Spear 1 locations, they're always better checked along with something else, just so you can feel like you can get more done in one trip as opposed to just going through all the Spear 1 locations, then 2, then 3.
Yeah.
It just makes more sense to route it in later.
I would hate to be the person who decided to do an actual breadth first search on this game.
That would be interesting to see, though. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
You're not allowed to check a location until you've checked all the locations that were previously available.
Oh my gosh. So here we have the Mothula fight from Jighart. Going to be a little better with Blue Mail and Master Sword. And yep, there he goes, already down.
So the reason people are saying Dark Souls is because the title still says Dark Souls, and there's not much we can do about that right now, but it's going to be okay.
we have contacted, and we're waiting for a response, so yeah, we're aware of that. But yeah, we just finished Mothula on Jighart's side. That's his second crystal. 30 minutes into the run. Must be feeling pretty good at this point, I imagine, especially with all the items he has.
Yeah, and gets the second item out of Skullwoods. That's the Cane of Brian, which is pretty great.
Oh, yeah.
Especially before you go into Thieves Town. It makes it real great, real easy. And we get either 1 or 5 rupees there on the pedestal. So pedestal is officially dead.
Yep, sorry guys. You can still hope for maybe an item being on a pendant dungeon boss, but that's probably the best you're going to get in this particular scenario.
And of course, that green pendant could be an important item as well.
That's true. That is very true.
See, now I wish I knew more about Dark Souls so I could meme, but I can't.
Okay, so we're going to see what's on the bumper ledge item for Jighart here. Can't get this up the cape. Half magic. Now Jighart's going to be taking a look at all of the Thieves' Town's locations here, starting with the C-shaped house. As COB is going to start his Mothula fight now.
Yeah, the Master Sword makes the Mothula fight fairly doable. You need 8 hits with a slash, or you can spin 4 times. You know, as a person who is, as I say, not great at this game, I tend to use the intentional lag strats, which is charge the sword so I can have a little more reaction time. There's the silver arrows,
and we
go with bow.
Yeah, so we've gotten both the bow and silver arrows inside Thieves' Town, or the Village of Outcasts to be more specific. Not a bad acquisition. That'll make Eastern a pretty good play next to also get back on sequence too. Assuming the sequence is there anyway.
Jighart not particularly happy with the money that the sick kid provided.
He's the kid. What do you expect? I mean, he mows lawns for a living. Like, that's all he's gonna have.
That's probably how he got sick.
Ah, okay. Yeah, Jighart making his way through Thieves Town now. 4 treasures can be found in Thieves Town, and this is another dungeon where the small key could potentially be locked behind itself if it's in the big chest. Not again, though. Once again, that's not going to come into play. That is so crazy, though, that both the bow and silvers were in the 2 houses in Thieves Town.
Yep. That is definitely how quite the strange occurrence. And just think, if the lamp or the flute is in Eastern Palace, the logic wanted you to double dip Eastern.
That is true, yeah. Jighart getting a little bullied in this room, but does make it through.
Pretty amazing how close this race is right now. Both runners are kind of right on each other's heels.
Yeah, what it all boils down to is, unfortunately, that death the running out of bombs that COB did in Escape. That's really what's kind of separating these two right now.
Yep, and Cobb made up a little time by not checking the Bombos tablet immediately, though that may be something that's in its future. But with that bow, I'm expecting a check over in the pod/Eastern area pretty soon.
Yeah, this would definitely be a good time to do it. You don't have the items you need to get into either Swamp or Mire right now. Eastern is a crystal dungeon, so it is a very, very, very good check at this point.
I would more than likely check Eastern first on account of it being a crystal. But yeah, Pod tends to have some value even when it's a pendant, so...
Yeah, 5 items. Has just as many items as like Mini Moldorm Cave or Hype Cave, so definitely should not overlook that if you're in the area.
Just a little more spread out.
Yeah. May have to gather up a bunch of keys first, but yeah, there's... Sometimes you just kind of have to treat like dungeons as just giant overworld locations. We do find the red mail in the back of Thieves Town.
I was hoping it would turn the ball and chain guard gold.
Yeah.
All right, and we come up against the blind fight.
Oh, okay. Well, before we get a little nice little screen change there.
Palette swap bug. Apparently, you activate that by making the what's it called, the save and quit menu happen right at the same time as the pun.
Right.
All right, that's going to clear out Thieves Town.
Crystal number 3, 4 more to go. 1 is currently on the table, I'd imagine, at this point.
Yep. There's still that ever so elusive ice rod that we're losing, and also the flippers that we don't have.
Plus the flute to get some mire, any medallions we potentially need.
And of course the Titan's mitts.
Oh yeah, of course. Titan's mitt, can't forget about those.
And Jighart is heading over toward Eastern Palace, it looks like. If I were Jighart, I would likely go into the Dark World first and then mirror on the way up. That way I could get an easy access back to Pod if I decided to go in there.
And Jighart, almost possessed by your commentator words, is going down there to do exactly just that.
I'm not saying it's an obvious play, but
I know, but it is funny how it worked out that way.
and Cobb will be dealing with blind as well. I think Cobb is making up a little time with the execution here.
I think so too, yeah, because he was about like he was almost like a dungeon behind, and then like he was only like half a dungeon behind when he got to Thieves Town. So yeah, really has been making up a lot of time here.
There are the flippers. That
So
was not what I expected to see, to be honest.
That does put a couple of other locations on the map, though, for where that lamp could be, or flute for that matter.
Yep, we got a good old hobo, and we've got the 2 waterfall locations.
Zora's Ledge as well, so yeah, a couple more locations added to the mix.
Now we also note that the flippers, the hammer, and the mirror are in our possession. So although it's not technically in logic yet on account of that flute/lamp break, it seems likely to me that there may actually be something on left side of Swamp.
Maybe.
Mainly because we don't have the hook shot yet, so the back of Swamp is not in logic. I have this rule where if I go into Swamp, I don't check left side unless the last thing I found for access was the hook shot.
Okay, I can kind of understand that.
Because that means that the left side's been in logic for longer than the back. Boots could theoretically be a pedestal in some seed. Not this one, though. It's actually not very difficult for Boots to be a pedestal. Jighart making use of the sword beam strats to take care of the Stalfos room. It's very nice. Just a piece of heart in the big chest. Yeah, so the only thing that would prevent the boots from being on the pedestal is if Desert is a pendant and requires the boots. So if Desert is a crystal, or if Desert is a pendant and doesn't require the boots, then the boots could easily be on the pedestal. Especially if it comes up early in the generation logic. So Jighart gets through the vanilla big key room. It turns out not really worth his time. Yeah, the only dungeon that could ever actually require the boots is Desert Palace. And Ganon's Tower. But Ganon's Tower is the last dungeon, so... You're right. Meyer could require the boots. I am smart. Meyer can require the boots if the hookshot is not available. So Jighart is making his way through the back of Eastern Palace. Going to apply silver arrows to Armo's Knights, and this will not be a slow fight by any stretch of the word.
Yeah, the pattern's still very quick regardless, so yeah, very nice quick fight.
Yeah. You can completely miss whatever pattern you're supposed to do and still have an amazingly quick fight with the silver arrows.
Yeah.
And Jighart will go ahead and check Palace of Darkness. Palace of Darkness has 5 items, but due to the way it is laid out and how many small keys are in chests, we expect many, many small keys before we get to the actual items. That's why we tend to think of Palace of Darkness like a good old-fashioned mullet. Business in the front and party in the back, as the case can be.
Yeah, the developers really try to make it so you can get all of the keys relatively early on in Palace of Darkness, just because of the way this dungeon is laid out. It can be so tricky because you don't want to be in a position where you open too many doors, don't have any keys to get through, so you have to be very careful with how you place all the keys.
It's been designed in such a way that even if you navigate Palace of Darkness in the worst possible way, in the most casual, I have no idea what I'm doing sort of way, you will never lock yourself out of something that is not just another key.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Okay, so let's see what we have in the 2 chests that are here in the Bowlock section of Palace of Darkness. Ooh, the Bombos Medallion.
Yeah, so the Bombos Medallion, yet another item. You can use that for Ice Palace, but again, I don't see much point in going into Ice at the moment, especially since you actually can't get in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no mitts.
Good old-fashioned Titan mitts. Who needs them?
Apparently you do to beat this game.
Literally everyone needs them. That's
Yeah.
who needs them.
Anyway, COB getting his crystal now. Once again, tied up in crystal count. I imagine he's probably going to make the same play as Jighart here.
And there are those boots we were talking about just a minute ago. And a shield. So the party begins in Palace of Darkness.
At this point, though, like, we still don't know if the boots are actually required or going to be required yet, though, so...
Yeah, it's unlikely, as Desert is a pendant, but you could also have Mire. That could be the only way to get into Mire, because the hookshot could be in there.
Yeah. Either for Mire access, or if there is something in one of those boost locks locations. And of course, if maybe a certain big key is on a certain torch in the final dungeon. So Jighart doing a nice job of navigating through this dark maze. Not having a lamp, you are unable to see all the little walls and barricades that kind of block your path. Finding the mushroom at the very end in the big chest.
All right, it's fetch quest time, isn't it?
Yep.
I have a question for you. In this scenario, do you fake powder?
Well...
I mean, we know where the powder is. It's locked behind the Titan
Yeah, we do.
right now.
Right. I suppose it wouldn't hurt. I mean, there could be a situation where maybe the...
like the ice rod could be there.
Or the hook shot, for that matter, requiring double dip of hookshot cave. So, you know... I could see a point to fake powdering in this case. It would kind of save some time if there is something in that location. Yeah, Jighart is opting to finish this dungeon, which means Helmasaur does have an item at this point, so gonna take a chance and see what that item is gonna end up being.
Now, I do get the feeling that if the title situation isn't fixed, we might not be able to run the guessing game, but we'll see. That's for later, though. Alright, so we've got ourselves a Helmasaur fight on our hands. We do know that there is definitely an item here. But is it important is the question. It doesn't look like it. And Jighart picks up the first pendant of the match. Meanwhile, Cobb picks up the mushroom and decides to peace out, which is an entirely legitimate strategy here. Just deciding that Helmasaur is not worth your time.
And once again, that will kind of even things up a little more because he's not going to be going all that way to get that item.
You know, I think he probably consciously thought to himself, you know, I waste a bunch of time in escape doing that. I'm gonna need to make some strong gambles to do this, and that was a pretty strong one, and it's paying off.
I will agree. These runners, they're smart. They're smart. They think these things out. They know what they're going to do. They believe in their own gambles, and I think that's great.
COB and Jighart are doing the exact same checks in 2 different ways. So
Yeah.
COB did the excellent little trick of mirroring from the Dark World that a lot of people don't know you can do to get to Hobo. And then I think he'll probably do a pyramid and catfish check and then take care of the Zora waterfall stuff while he's at it. It's a pretty solid play, in my opinion.
Oh, definitely. I couldn't agree more. It'll be very, very efficient to do it in this fashion.
Did we already do a pyramid check, maybe? Oh my goodness!
Whoa! Lamp and hook shot.
The lamp was in there, which fixed all the sequence breaking, and then, oh, right, the hook shot as well. So, yeah, about that.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's really nice.
Now, the unfortunate part is that really makes me feel like Swamp has something.
Yeah, it is looking like that swamp play is growing closer and closer.
And there's the Quake medallion at Zora.
The Zora
COB
area
takes
having
care
all
of the
the items
mushroom
today.
check as well. Yeah, adding in the mushroom check to this trip, also a great call. But I think he did skip the pyramid check, or maybe he already checked it.
I think he did check Pyramid on his way to Darkness, or Palace of Darkness, or Eastern Palace of Darkness.
Oh yeah, because he actually entered the Dark World from the south.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of swamp, it looks like Jighart will be heading that direction.
Yeah, with the items he's just been given, honestly, this does seem like a reasonable play. 6 items in Swamp to get, and not a lot left to be in Go mode at this point. Really just Ice Rod, Flute, maybe Ether Medallion if we still need that, and the Titan's Mitts.
Very true. As stated before, I personally think there's something on left side this time, but, you know, it's not guaranteed.
It's Randomizer for a reason.
We'll see if Jighart opts to go left side or skip it.
Ooh, getting a big key early, that is nice. It will pretty much prevent us from having to come in here for a second time.
And it looks like COB has made the same inevitable conclusion that Swamp is the play.
Yeah, this seed has been extremely linear, even in terms of the sequence breaking. It's just been really, really linear for both players, going in all the same places and making all the same plays pretty much.
It may also be that COB decided to skip out on Helmasaur because those dark rooms on the way to Helmasaur are actual garbage.
That's
but
true.
Still going to pay off.
Yeah, they are garbage. I agree with that.
Oh, there are the Titan's mitts in the compass chest, so now I don't think
Okay.
there's anything on left side.
And you know, it is interesting. I always find that when you're kind of looking for the mitts this late into a seed, and I mean, late in comparison to this seed anyway, I find that they're either like the myths are usually in one of those early Dark World dungeons, 1 through 4, because every other Dark World dungeon is blocked by the myths in some fashion, and it just seems like there's a higher percentage, and this is just what I've noticed. Obviously, once again, it's randomizer; you can never know for sure, but it just seems like they're always seem to be in one of these 4 dungeons at this point in the run.
That's quite likely. So, Jighart will go ahead and check the chests back here. That does make plenty of sense. And we have found 4 of the 6 items here in the swamp. So it could be that we just have, you know, compass and map on the left-hand side, and that would, you know, make Jighart's day. But unfortunately, that's not the case.
It could end up being the exact opposite thing, where both map and compass are here, and the left side has the other 2 items.
And they turn out to be the flute and the ether medallion. Or the ice rod.
Flute and ice rod would be a very interesting combo, because even though we don't know what the medallions are yet, that very well could be go mode at that point. Anyway, the unfortunate thing about Master Sword Argus is the fact that the little puffballs surrounding Argus will take 2 hits to get, but thankfully making the time up with just a straight silver to the face, and unfortunately the compass was on Argus, so the remaining 2 items are on the left side.
Oh boy. Nobody likes to do left side swamp. Is Jighart going back? He is.
I feel like when it's 2 items, you kind of have to. You could kind of make a justification if it's just 1 item back there, because then you can say, okay, well, this is at least a smart gamble, almost equivalent to what COB did at Helmasaur, but with 2, that's just really risky to do that.
Now, the upside with skipping the left side first is there's literally no way to drown the key anymore.
Yep. I know a lot of runners do that just so they don't run into this situation, so it is smart.
Downside, of course, that you have to take a little more time to get the key and get the left side unlocked. It's a couple of extra screen transitions is what it amounts to.
But at the same time, if you flood the key, that's even more screen transitions you have to do, so... Okay, so COB gets his 5th crystal now, too. And he is not going back in.
Oh my. Well, we'll see if that pays off right now, won't we?
Let's see what happens.
And it does.
Oh my gosh, the lead has changed.
But COB is about to check something that Jighart has already checked.
Oh, that's true. So it's evened up, if anything.
COB's gonna get his first bottle.
1 hour and 4 minutes into the run, we have our first bottle for Cobb.
And we're also going to get our first Agina's Cave check.
We have not seen this yet, so this could be a good play.
Just a bomb upgrade. What do you think the odds are Cobb goes for Desert?
It's right there. There are... I think you can get all the items right now.
I would guess based on the fact that he's walking out of the cave, the answer is yes.
Yep.
Otherwise, I'd save and quit right out. We've really got a solid divergence here now.
Solid divergence, and honestly, the first divergence since we've started this seed.
There's a second bottle with also a fairy at the blacksmith's. It looks like fake powder time. Employing the cane of Brian to try to get rid of as much magic as possible. And there's the fluted desert!
Oh my gosh, the plays. And yeah, oh, this is nice too, because yeah, he wouldn't have had the boots if he came here earlier, so that really worked out that he did this then. Okay, Cop is potentially one item away from go mode. We do not know the stats for the medallions for Meyer and Turtle Rock yet, but there is a possibility Cop already has them.
Yep. And it's pretty oh, the ice run!
Oh my god!
Desert Palace paying off! Holy!
He's going to activate his flute, and I think he's going to consider going for it. I think he thinks he needs to after the escape.
You know, with the book found so early, I mean, it was in Hype Cave, that just kind of blows this wide open.
Yeah, it really does. Jighart is in the area, so there is a possibility he'll make the same check, but oh my gosh, the trailing the whole race, making a few gambles to skip a few bosses and chests. But definitely put Cobb in the lead right now.
But yeah, Jighart is definitely headed to Desert now, so this is going to be a close race once again. I imagine Cobb will probably go to Meyer, like, immediately.
Yes.
Just to know what's required.
Mm-hmm. And he's mashing that flute button, so that's exactly what I think he's going to do here.
I guess we don't know what Turtle Rock requires either.
Yeah, we don't know either, unfortunately. Let's see, we got...
Looked like...
I think Bombos?
Bombos?
Is what it was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I know it wasn't either.
Yeah, it wasn't either. I'm pretty sure it was Bombos. He is going to check these, which honestly I don't blame him. On the off chance Ether is required, and also just for like a sword upgrade or something.
Yeah.
So I understand.
Check for a sword upgrade certainly wouldn't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Jighart grabs the flute. It's going to be pleasantly surprised by the ice rod on the right-hand side, and we will have ourselves another straightforward race. The other upside with Meyer is it's basically going to take the same amount of time in go mode that it takes normally, usually.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless you get, like, extremely lucky.
Right, of course.
COB using Sword Beam and Dash strats in this first room to make short work of all of these enemies. And we've got a boomerang for COB.
That is one item we can check off of the Meyer treasure list too, so it is important to kind of keep track of that stuff if you're kind of pseudo-go-moding dungeons. If you do find out later that we will need the Ether Medallion, it's good to know what your dungeon counts are just in case, so...
And Jighart is taking care of a few little overworld checks here. We're dealing with King's Tomb and likely the Bonk Rocks.
And again, like just getting the Tempered Sword or something would also make a big difference, I think. So
Yeah,
honestly,
Master Sword Ganon is the worst.
Not even just Master Sword Ganon, but even just like the rest of the bosses we have to take care of. Like Trinex can take a lot less time with the Tempered Sword as well.
And COB is heading over to everybody's favorite cutscene room.
Answer question in chat. No, we do not know what the medallion is for Turtle Rock just yet, but there is a 66% chance that COB already has it.
I'm not going to argue specifics on prior and posterior probabilities, but we'll just go with that.
Okay, COB gets the big key. And I believe he's also gotten both items in here too, so don't have to worry about coming back to Meyer.
Yep, so he's going to make a beeline for Vitreous and unload a machine gun of silver arrows, I imagine.
Oh yeah, of course. That's one of the best ways to destroy him. I agree with that.
Just glad this isn't retro mode.
Oh yeah, of course.
That'd cost you more than Zora.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. I always hate it when I get blocked by the trap there.
Yeah, that's annoying.
It's like you pull off the nice little swag dash with the Cadence Mario, and then it's like, nope, not today.
Yeah, COB getting ready to enter the Vitreous fight very, very soon. Like Dr. Bob already said, silver arrow will be needed for each of the small eyeballs, 2 silver arrows for the big eyeball. Very, very quick fight when you have those silvers at your disposal.
Now, he is only on 4 hearts, but the red mail makes it where if something goes horribly wrong, he's got fairies.
Yeah, he does. So that's okay.
Yeah, I think he has fairy singular.
Yeah, Jighart's the one with 2 fairies. Cobb just has the one. He did not get the other one at the blacksmith's.
Right, I imagine Cobb will now be heading up to Death Mountain to go check the medallion required for Turtle Rock.
And if it happens to be Ether, there are some chests we can check up there as well, so could end up being there. But first, going to buy a singular potion.
I do imagine if this were me, I would be going to get that powder.
Oh, yeah, I can understand that. I mean, it would be a good place to check for another sword upgrade, too. Hookshot Cave, so I can understand that.
The mouse cursor sprite is also really good. Just thought I'd throw that one out there.
Yeah, the mouse cursor is great.
It can be difficult to use, but it's hilarious. And I love it.
See all those questions in chat. Can you move your mouse cursor? Or I thought my mouse cursor was on the screen.
Shoot, when I'm playing with it, I think my mouse cursor's on the screen.
Okay, we have a moment of truth coming up here.
And which medallion is Turtle Rock? It's Bombos. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have an official go mode.
That's right, we got it several minutes ago, but this absolutely confirms it. Lalala is in go mode.
Jighart should be close behind. This is going to be a close race all the way to the finish.
Yeah, and there's still the matter of Ganon's Tower. Just a difference in Ganon's Tower routing could just change the lead again, so we'll have to see how this ends up. Not to mention, Turtle Rock can be a nasty place to take a death in as well, so...
Jighart's going to go ahead and check the checkerboard cave, interestingly enough. There is not a Moldorm 2 bomb jump. I have tried this many times. It doesn't work.
Yeah, the gap is just a bit too wide for that to work, so unfortunately that is not a thing.
And we don't have like a right edge wall to sort of help you along like you would in Spectacle Rock Cave.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly enough, there is a Turtle Rock Big Chest bomb jump.
Yep, that one is bomb jumpable. Never thought I'd say the word bomb jumpable ever in my life, but there we are.
Of course, you'd probably only need that if you were doing entrance shuffle.
Yeah.
Now, the required medallions can be different, but they can also be the same. So both of them bombos this time. That's fine. In fact, in the logic, I believe the medallions are decided before anything else.
Yeah, they're one of the cases that are decided pretty much from the get-go, I believe.
It's either that or which crystals are where, but it's both of those are very soon.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and with that one small key in hand, Cobb is going to be heading his way to the very end of Turtle Rock here.
And I expect potentially a check of the big chest to make the in case it's a small key.
Right. Maybe the other chest for a sword upgrade, which is kind of what Jighart's doing right here, checking some of these other locations to see if maybe a sword will pop out.
Yeah, it's not a horrible idea, and you will get that wonderful powder if you keep going this way. That way you can use it in Turtle Rock. Pretty much one of the best dungeons to use the powder in.
Now I know that Cobb turned in the mushroom, but did Jighart turn in the mushroom, or did he just use it for fake powder?
I'm not sure.
Because technically, it'd be very inconvenient to do it in that fashion.
Oh,
but
he turned it in.
Oh, okay. Okay. Never mind then. He is going to get it, though, so...
I'm getting a little sidetrack in the track room.
Kind of surprised he... Well, I mean, there is another full magic coming up, but... With my thinking, he could have checked a few of the laser bridge chests for swords or something, but it's okay. His call. He feels comfortable.
Yeah, I actually can get behind the play on account of, you just get there and do as much. You get to Ganon's Tower as quickly as you can, and just kind of assume that as you're checking Ganon's Tower, you'll find something.
Yeah, and that's a very good mindset. I can agree with that.
Don't start checking extraneous chests until you absolutely have to.
Right. Okay, so we do have the Trinex fight coming up for Cobb. Gonna be using hammer strats.
A lot of times I'll see sort of a hybrid strat here where people will use hammer on the left head and then sword on the right.
Yeah, I can understand that, especially if I have to deal with ice. He gets it, and he doesn't have to use his potion either. That's great.
And it looks like we have already started today's big key guessing game because Cobb's about to finish off Trinex. So if you think you know where it is, take a guess. 1 through 22. If you have supported one of the speed gaming channels through a donation of 250 bits or more, or or a subscription, then you can be put into the leaderboard.
But yeah, get your numbers in, 1 through 22. Where do you think that big key is going to be? I think it's going to be in number 8. I would ask you, Bob, but I think you have a pretty obvious answer where that's going to be.
Bob's chest is the answer. It's number 14, usually. But I put 12 this time because I think he's going to go full left side.
Okay, that's fair.
Also, because somebody else put 14.
Okay, I see what it is. Jighart actually going off to check this chest over here.
Oh,
Just for a single arrow, though.
that is unfortunate. And that means he's going to have to check the laser bridge.
That's true. So right away we get a fire shield and a small key. It looks like going to be checking the right side first for COB screen.
So much for full left side.
Showing some fancy cane strats to get that block on the button. Okay, we got 4 chests in here. Bomb upgrade. Heart container. Bombs. And the red boomerang. So, through 6, still have not found it yet.
And he may go full right, or he may just be picking up this key. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So I have another theory about the big key here. Well, there it is.
Okay, 7. Whoever gets 7.
Number 7, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to say rigged, but no, I'm just kidding. Good job. Congratulations, Slim Kirby.
I'll go ahead and give that victory to Lost Reality 90, who is the actual first person who guessed 7, even if he wasn't a supporter of the channel.
Also, shout outs to Cobb's rupee total.
Wow, okay. You better not get a single rupee for the rest of this run.
Yeah, 1 more rupee would still be pretty good. 2 rupees, then we'll talk.
It looks like that last small key is going to be in the very last chest in here, and unfortunately he does not get a sword upgrade for his troubles either, so...
So Jighart was pretty close along and then fell behind due to the fact that he was kind of obsessively searching for an additional sword.
And again, like, I mean, you got to think, like, the play is understandable. It makes sense. You can't really even blame him for making those plays. It's just unfortunate that just because COB has been a little more leading more towards gambles and kind of just sticking out with this equipment, he's being rewarded for it. So definitely congrats to him, but, you know, definitely congrats to Jighart for making it a very close and interesting race anyway.
You just gotta hope that if you're COB, you gotta hope that you remember how to do Master Sword Ganon.
Yes, and that is still a big hurdle that we have to overcome before the end of this race, so anything can happen there.
And I will say, if I was COB, I would go ahead and check the rest of the chests on the way up Ganon's Tower, just in case.
For sure. Ooh, Jighart does run out of magic, does have some potions though, so we can restock there and get this kill on the firehead. Or the ice head, I'm sorry. Using the fire rod for it.
So these Cane of Samaria strats rooms are pretty good, although it can be a little difficult to get them down perfectly, especially that second one. And we see Cobb has ruined his rupee total now.
Ah. Maybe he can get 107 more by the end of the run, and he'll have just all ones.
We've got a cape. And another bottle. Not bad.
That's good, yeah. Bottle, it's a free health restore on Ganon.
Yeah, bottle and cape. I mean, cape is nice safety strats for Ganon. That's pretty good, to be honest.
Oh wow, a small key at the top of Ganon's tower. Thankfully, he came with an extra, so that didn't really matter much, but that could be helpful if you don't come up here with any keys.
And we got Troll Dorm 2.
And Jighart's actually checking left side, so there could be... Oh, well, he'll get the key immediately, but...
And nothing in the final chest either. I wouldn't be surprised to see Jighart, go check the Stalfos room.
Yeah, that has 4 chests, so I can understand that.
But I don't expect him to check any more than that. And the third and fourth sword upgrades will just completely elude us today.
Well, let's see. We never went to Ice Palace. There could have been something in there, I imagine.
That's entirely possible. There could be one on, say, the green pendant from Sahasrara.
That's right. North Dark World was... I mean, I didn't see what's on the Graveyard Ledge, I don't think. Here we go. COB Lalala is getting ready for the Ganon fight. Ganon fight with Master Sword. Because he has the Master Sword, he will not be able to do simple sword strikes. He has to do only sword spins to actually do damage and stun Ganon at the very end. So it can be kind of tricky. You have to wait to kind of charge up your sword, and you also have a huge amount of knockback whenever you hit him as well. So it can be a really inconvenient fight.
Getting sort of up against the wall so you knock back into the wall is a great place. Getting way up against the wall like this is really good because you get double spins.
Mm-hmm. I believe you need 12 Master Sword spins to move on to the next phase.
That is generally the case. I think that's it, but don't... Yeah, that's definitely got to be it.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so that's going to be 2 spins for this phase, and a third. The second phase does not technically start until Ganon starts spinning the trident. So we are currently on 6 for this phase.
think he needs one more. Get an extra in there just in case.
There we go. Moved on to phase 3. Ganon's gonna start doing the teleport thing. And if he manages to jump up and down and land, he's gonna cause fire to spew all over the place, and you don't really want to see that happen.
Yeah, just again showing how awkward just dealing with Ganon with Master Sword is. You can't really be facing Ganon directly because you have a chance to run into him and poke him, which will just cancel your charge up, and you have to do it again. But we have made it to phase 4, just 4 silvers after 4 spins to stun him.
Nicely done with the torch glitch. Hitting Ganon on a diagonal during Master Sword is always a good way to slow yourself down.
Yeah. One more hit should do it, though, and it looks like we got it.
And Cobb manages to take down Ganon, no problem, as he enters the final Triforce room. The time, approximately 1 hour, 36 minutes, and 14 seconds. Well played to Cobb.
Yeah, seriously, a really, really great run, especially considering that unfortunate restart in Escape at the very beginning. Manages to make some very key gambles, get into go mode before his opponent, and just finish the rest of the run in really good shape. So definitely get your GGs in chat. Very nice run.
We'll see if Kyle will join us here in a moment for a interview. And Jighart is now entering the Ganon fight as well. Once again with the Master Sword. Nobody has any idea where those other 2 swords could be. Ice Palace is a possibility. Rando Room. Many different locations. And Jighart on the second phase of Ganon. Once again dealing with the fire bats in a rather expert manner. Jighart still has a fairy and is also making use of that red potion he picked up on the way up Ganon's tower.
Gotta imagine that he should be pretty close here.
Ooh,
I think he has a fairy, though.
he does. There's one fairy, but that is it. That is the last thing the Jighart has left. So hopefully he'll be able to pull this out. But yes, we have reached phase 3, and that does count as a hit. We know he will, stop teleporting right there. We're going to get, I think, 2 there again, and I think the next one might be 4, but don't hold me to it. Okay, no, it's like 1. It's kind of an unfortunate place for Ganon to be standing if you're trying to get the torch glitch, but no problem for Jighart.
One more spin will do it. Or one more silver, and there we go.
Well done fight for Jighart. And Cobb is in the setup room, so I'm going to bring him on in. And hello, Cobb. Welcome, and congratulations.
Well, thank you.
So, you made some pretty solid calls earlier on in this race.
I made some gambles that just, I got lucky. I got really lucky.
Yeah. You know, skipping left side swamp, skipping Helmasaur, which Jighart did not do. Those basically caught you up.
I decided to skip Helmasaur because I had already checked the pedestal, and yeah, there was an item, but it was just, I'm not going to waste 2-3 minutes to do that. The left side of swamp, I actually was like, yeah, I'm going to do that, and then completely forgot. So
Well,
I
there
was
you go.
nervous after I realized that.
Yeah, it turned out it was just, I think, 50 rupees twice. So,
Yeah, and I also thought about going to ice after I checked the tablet, but I was like, desert only takes a minute or 2, and desert was money.
it certainly was. Now, unfortunately, your opponent did do a lot of additional checks looking for that sword upgrade, which is kind of what led to the final difference here.
Oh yeah, I was lucky because this morning I was doing practice, and one of the things that I practiced today was Master Sword Silver Ganon.
Nice. Speaking of your opponent, they're in the setup room. I'm going to go ahead and bring him on in. And we welcome Jighart. Congratulations on finishing.
GG Jighart.
Oh, that works better if I unmute myself. Hello.
There is that. So yeah, congratulations on finishing. We could tell that you really, really wanted to find the Tempered Sword.
I hate Master Sword Ganon. Like, passionately hate.
I don't blame you. It's not the most pleasant fight in the world. And we still have no idea where those swords are. They're either probably back in Rando Room or Ice Palace or some obscure place that we haven't seen yet.
Well, at least you finished with Master Sword as well, so I have not that excuse. But yeah, congratulations. I think it was fairly close. Oh yeah, 5 minutes. That's not too bad.
Jighart, you were actually sort of ahead for a good portion of the race. Cobb had a little bit of a mishap in the early escape problems.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about it. I mean, you asked for it, though.
You know, that's the funny thing, is like, when I was talking to Jighart before we even got the race channel or the seed, I was like, it's totally going to be bomb opening.
Yep, thought about you at that time. Fortunately, I did practice my bomb escape, which was fairly good, I think. Guards didn't troll me.
You had some very nice strats there.
It was the rat that got me. I did fine with the other guards. Just that Dang dirty rat.
It's always the rat.
Yeah, the rat is the worst. It's the true final boss of this game.
Yeah, that was an interesting seed. I think it went fairly well early on, and as usual, I get lost at some point because I really want to find that sword. So I start looking around all over the place. So I guess that's where I lost some time.
Yeah, but both of you took roughly the same route for a lot of this run.
Did you
Uh,
sequence
the-
break the lamp?
Sure did.
So
I
you
did,
went to
yeah.
Death Mountain before you went Eastern.
Yeah. Totally did.
Both players did that. The
go to
first
Pod as
real
soon as I
major
did?
route divergence was when you went to Desert Cobb.
Oh, okay. So you went to Pod before Village of Outcasts? Because I did like Skull Woods, and then I think I routed over to like Catfish in that area, and then Pod maybe something like that.
I thought you had the bow before you went into.
Yeah,
Pod.
I did.
You're
I
right.
did Village
You're
of
right. I
Outcast.
did.
Yeah, Village of Outcasts was where the bow and the silvers were, right next to each other.
That's right. I forget what I kind of thought that I was doing a weird routing there, but I don't remember. I'd have to watch it back.
Yeah, when you watch it back, like both of you literally had the same exact dungeon progression the whole way through, and it was crazy how like just so similar and exact that your routes were. Literally the only difference, and it's honestly what was the biggest indicator in this race, was that Cobb skipped checking Helmasaur and skipped the left side of Swamp. That was like the big thing. That's where the lead change actually happened. Because right
Forgot
after
Swamp. Let's say Forgot Swamp.
yeah, fair enough. But yeah, like right after Swamp, I believe Jighart, you went north to take care of the frog side quest and all of that, and then that's when Cobb went straight to Desert to check first the Bombos tablet, since he did not get that earlier, but checked that, went straight to Desert, and then was pretty much in go mode from that point on, and that's literally what the difference was. So it was a really, really, really close race. It was so much fun to watch.
Okay, when I got the mitts in Swamp, I thought the next item would be behind mitts. The closest thing I had was frog, etc. And then I had planned to go back to Desert because I was intrigued by the boots showing up randomly, which had the flute.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then the ice rod happened to be in there too.
And the ice rod. Best Desert Palace ever.
Yep. For all we know, the third sword upgrade could have been on the pendant there too, so that could have been even better. But who knows? All right, so once again, congratulations to Cobb for pulling this one out, and well played to Jighart as well. Both of these are very excellent times. There is nothing wrong with either of these times.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for playing me, Jighart. Great competition. Thanks to our commentators and trackers. Everybody should go follow them. They are very entertaining.
Thanks to you for the race. Thanks everybody for all the good work behind the scenes. And thanks chat for watching.
Indeed. Couldn't have said it better myself, but I'm going to try. So, once again, thank you to Maximini 1010 in chat for running the tracker today, doing an excellent job, and of course my co-commentator Slim Kirby. Couldn't have done this without you.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Bob. It was great working with you, as it always is. And for anyone in chat, if you want to continue watching the randomizer action, be sure to follow and keep up with the Speed Gaming channels and the ALTTP randomizer channels. Speed Gaming 1 through 6, ALTTP randomizer 1 through 4. There will be tournament matches just galore for the next several weeks and months, because this is a huge tournament, 512 entrants, and it's going to be big. It's going to be literally the biggest tournament I've ever seen on this network, so it'll be a lot of fun. And if you want to see more, definitely give these channels a follow to check out more of this tournament.
Indeed. So, does anybody else have anything they'd like to say before we wrap things up here today?
I think I'm good.
No, just gonna go see if I can get my heart rate under 100.
Seems legit. And with that, I think we'll see you all at a later occasion. Thank you very much. I have been Dr. Bobtastic.
And I have been Slim Kirby. See you guys later.
Bye-bye, everybody.